Alright boys, girls, fellow gamers. In this video, I will be giving you all the ultimate Armor 2.0 stat, affinity, and mod guide. I won't just be explaining the general system, but will also be going over everything and giving you what I believe to be the best armor loadouts and how to get them as well. Alright, Papa MyFi is here once again to simplify everything so you can save some time and actually know what in the world you're looking for. Grab some popcorn or whatever you like to snack on because it's going to be a long one, so let's go. You already know, real quick, just got to hit the plug button. Mixer.com/myfi is where I stream daily. Come over, say hi. Told you, just real quick plug, had to get it out of the way. So first up, I'm going to tell you what and how Armor 2.0 works. If somehow you don't already know, Armor 2.0 is the new armor system introduced within Shadowkeep. Players are now able to slot in mods to pieces of armor, allowing more customization compared to the previous system Destiny had, where your armor came with certain perks that you couldn't really arrange. Like, think of how your gun or your weapon will have, you can either choose between like different types of barrels and stuff. Well, with the previous armor system, you could choose between like a hand cannon loader or like a pulse rifle loader, and that's how you selected it. Well, in this one, you just throw on a mod and then that's how it works. All right, but you probably already knew that. Now, how does it work? Like, how do you actually use Armor 2.0 efficiently, or just how do you use it in general? So all Armor 2.0 comes with three big things you should always be looking at, and that being affinity and stats, and then I also threw on mod slots just because we're going to talk about mod slots at the end, but mod slots kind of tie into affinity. So so first up, affinity being the element that your armor is, like arc, solar, and void. So if you go and you look on a piece of armor and you'll see a little fire symbol, that means solar. If you see a void symbol, that's void, the purple one. And if you see the blue one, that's arc. All right, that's a simple way if you don't know what I'm talking about, but you should. All right, void, solar, arc, those are the affinities. I'm going to be referring to them as the element to just kind of simplify it. And I know what you're thinking, and the answer is no, the element of your armor doesn't affect your subclass in like literally any way. So you don't have to run Dawn Blade or the Solar Warlock subclass if you're rocking solar armor, right? You don't have to do that. The purpose of elements, though, is to borderline just restrict what mods are allowed to be slotted onto that particular piece of armor. So example, Void Arm Armor, God, that is a tongue twister, can slot hand cannon loading mods. So example, like enhanced hand cannon loader, where you reload faster with the hand cannon, can be put on those Void Arm Armor. But you can't slot machine gun loading mods, as machine gun is linked to arc. So if you have Void Arm Armor and you throw on a hand cannon loader, it works. It gives you the option. You can actually go in and see which mods will work, but you can't see which mods won't work, and I think that's kind of dumb. I would really like that. But yeah, and that's because the machine gun is linked to arc. So you can't put on like a machine gun loader onto your void hands because they're linked to arc. Now that may sound kind of confusing. Well, let me just super simplify it for you so you can understand better. All weapons are linked to certain elements for armor mods, and that weapon to mod element remains the same across all armor pieces. So all mods that are related to auto rifles are linked to solar armor. All right, so anything auto rifle related when it comes to mods is going to be linked to solar armor. Hand cannons are all linked to void, and sniper rifles are all linked to void as well, and then machine gun is all linked to arc. So if you like using machine guns, then you're gonna want arc element armor pieces, as machine guns are linked to arc. So what this means is that you don't have to worry about getting machine gun scavenger for your arc boots, then having to remember which element armor you need to get machine gun loader, as you can just remember that it would be arc due to all machine gun armor mods being arc restricted. And the element of the gun, say it's like a void submachine gun, that has nothing to do with it, so don't get that confused. All right, and then there are the stats. All right, so the stats are mobility, resilience, recovery, discipline, intellect, and strength. Mobility is how fast you can move and your jump height, in a sense. Resilience affects how much damage you can take before dying, in a sense. Recovery being how fast you regen your health. Discipline affecting how fast you get your grenade back. Intellect affecting how fast you get your super back, and finally strength being how fast you get your melee back. All right. These are pretty much completely dependent on your build, but I will say 3 things, all right? First is resilience is completely useless, as there has been numerous tests on this stat, and all tests show that it does little to nothing, and you're better off investing those points elsewhere by finding different armor with little resilience, so those points can be put elsewhere. All right, resilience, I may have said resistance, but it's resilience. Resilience, terrible, don't use it, it does nothing, all right? Second is any base armor that you get that has a stat of 60 or more should be saved. So, you know, when you get an armor piece and you're looking at it and that little number beneath, you know, the 6 white lines, you know that number, say it's like 55 or 60 or whatever, that's what I'm talking about. That's your base stat. So I'm talking no mods on it, no nothing on it. Remove all your mods just to be safe, and then look at the base stat of the armor, and then you can decide, you know, is it a 60 stat or above. Also, real quick, I will go into that masterworking in armor adds 12 total points each stat. So you will now be getting 2 more mobility, 2 more resilience, recovery, discipline, intellect, and strength. And you can see that because now the little white bars on the armor are white, but then there's a little bit of yellow at the end of them, and that's how you know it's masterwork. I mean, plus you'll know you masterworked because it costs you an ascendant shard, and those things are not cheap. Now, getting back to what I was saying, even if 60 doesn't benefit your current build, 60 stat armors are pretty rare and could help you out if you're trying out a different build down the road. All right, so don't just see that it's a 60 stat and it's all in mobility and strength and just throw it away, because, you know, maybe later down the road you want to be a really fast punching guardian or whatever. All right, you never know. So I mean, because the meta's change pretty much every season, so just hold on to them. 60 stats are pretty rare. I have, you know, a handful of 60 stats, probably like 7 or 8 that were actually base 60 stats, and a lot of them were like right at 60, so I'm probably just have bad RNG with it. Now, this doesn't just mean to throw all your armor that is below 60 base stat away, and I really do emphasize the example that I'm about to give, so listen up. A 55 stat chest piece that has 5 mobility, 2 resilience, 20 recovery, 20 discipline, 5 intellect, and 3 strength is way better than a 66 stat that has 11 in each slot. And that's just because I value, me personally, like that 55 stat I would definitely main. I would throw that on and probably never take it off. More than that 66 stat, I would probably just lock that and then throw it in my vault later down the line. All right, and that's just simply because I value recovery and discipline way more than any other stat right now. And that's kind of like a little spoiler about what I'm going to recommend at the end, but you know, take it as you will. So now we're going to be talking about mods, and mods are the part that really trip a lot of people up and really confuse a lot of people. I'm here to simplify it and make it as understandable as possible for you all. So first up, I am reading from a guide/chart. It is called the Armor 2.0 Mod Affinity Guide. This is made by a user over on Reddit, link in the description. Please have this chart pulled up when I'm explaining this, as it will make explaining it much easier because you will actually be able to get a visual of what I'm talking about, okay? So getting into the guide, there are 5 different big sections, and these sections are helmet, gauntlets, chest, legs, and class item, okay? And then under those sections, there are 5 other smaller little subsections. These are seasonal, general, arc, solar, and void. Under seasonal, these are all your seasonal mods. So every mod that you get from the seasonal artifact, these mods are fantastic. They cost little affinity points, and they're pretty dang good if you ask me. And you may be asking, wait, what are affinity points? You didn't explain those. Real quick, infinity points, if you don't know, whenever you go into a piece of armor, you will be able to see how many points you have by looking, you know, right above the mod slot section. It'll either be like orange for solar, or it'll be like blue for arc, or it'll be purple for void. And once you hover over that, it'll tell you how many points you have to allocate. All right, and then you can upgrade those points with glimmer and legendary shards. And the more you upgrade it out of 10 until you get to 10, the more expensive it's going to get, and the different materials it's going to use, such as the final level getting from 9 to 10 costing you an ascendant shard. That's expensive, all right? So what it does, or what affinity points are, is that say I want to throw on an enhanced hand cannon loader on my Void Gauntlets, right? Because I have an enhanced hand cannon loader for my Void Gauntlets. That's gonna cost me 6 points, and say I have a 10-point armor or a masterworked set of gauntlets. Now I only have 4 points left because it's 6 for my enhanced hand cannon. Now I only have 4 points left out of that 10. So now I only can slide another mod in that equals 4, or just multiple mods that will equal up to 4. That's how points work, super simple. And the reason seasonal are so good is because, if y'all can see on the chart, an enhanced hand cannon loader is only 1 point compared to the traditional one, and they're the exact same. Now, another thing about these seasonal mods is that they break the rules, all right? They do not require any affinity. They don't care what affinity you're running. They will go on your armor, all right? They don't care. Amazing mods. Now getting under the general section. The general section can be equipped on everything until you get to the very bottom. Once you get to the very bottom and you start seeing things like the little title that says like helmet specific or gauntlet specific, those can only be equipped on that piece of armor, so say a helmet, but it doesn't care about your affinity. All right, it doesn't care about your affinity. So helmet specific is pretty much a way to say that, hey, you don't have, a hand cannon targeting mod for, void helmets. We're gonna give you a general one that's less powerful, but it's still gonna act and work in the same way. So we're gonna give you a helmet specific precision weapon targeting, which doesn't work as good, but it still works. So use it until you get, your hand cannon targeting. That's how that works. And then you can look at the Arc, Solar, and Void and see which ones go on which, and then which ones have, enhanced versions and all that good stuff. Check the chart out. Chart is super specific and super helpful. Go and check it out. And if you are waiting to hear what I think are the best affinities / stats to run for your armor, or to be searching for it, that's gonna have to be Arc and Void affinities. Nothing on the Solar I even use. I don't use linear fusions, I don't use fusions, I don't use auto rifles. I use a submachine gun, my Recluse, but that's it. And it's just not worth searching for a specific, Solar piece just for Recluse. It just doesn't make sense for me. There's no point for me to do it when I can be benefiting more by looking for Void and Arc. Void is hand cannon and snipers. I use both those tremendously. Not only that, it's grenade launchers. I can use that. Grenade launcher scavenger is a must. All right. Then we got Arc. Arc is gonna be, for your shotguns and for your machine guns. Absolutely fantastic. Amazing. Whereas Solar, it's just underwhelming for me. All right. That's just my personal opinion though. And that's just the build that I run. Now my stats. I prioritize recovery and discipline. As recovery, faster health regen, and discipline is your grenade regen. All right, 2 amazing things for PvE. Now, if I'm going for PvP, I'm looking for recovery again. So recovery should always be one of those things that you're always looking for. And then instead of discipline, I'm going for mobility, just so I can move quicker, get in and out of gunfights faster. And with that increased health regen, I'm really just soaring through the gunfights. All right, so those are my personal favorite, and I think they could be yours as well. But yeah, that's going to go ahead and wrap up the video. Hopefully y'all did enjoy. If y'all have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And with that out of the way, I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.